Welcome to some retro football management streaming. This will be going into a YouTube series as well, hopefully, if successful, around 30 minutes each. But the first couple of parts will be done during the stream. Excuse me, a bit croaky today. And we're going back to 1999. We're going back 23 years where the world was a different place, and we're going back to the famous Championship Manager series. The Championship Managers series was very famous. It was a series that kind of brought you Football Manager as it is now, the Football Manager games. And Championship Manager, especially the screen you can see right in front of you, Championship Manager 1 was one of my all-time favourite games. I played this for so many years back in 1992, and it was an amazing game, and it sold very well, and it had a number of sequels right up to 2005, where the company that bought Doughnut, who made the original Championship Manager with the Collier brothers, split with Sports Interactive, and they kind of changed into Football Manager is the game as you know now. The original name Championship Manager carried on though until 2010, until that game ended. I think Championship Manager 5, I think it was. But I moved over, I think with majority of people moved over to play the Football Manager series, which again started in 2005. But here we go, this is Championship Manager. The game in those days featured just 4 divisions. The FA Premier wasn't even there then. That did not appear until the Championship Manager 93-94 game, which was I think 1 or 2 games after this. But I loved Championship Manager 1. I then progressed obviously to Championship Manager 2, and then we're here where we are today. We're going back and playing Championship Manager 3, which was released in the 26th of March 1999. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how I do in this game, because this was 23 years ago, so there'll be no current football players playing football now who were playing football then, unless they are 41, 42 years old and they started when they were about 18 years old, then maybe they could be in here. But we'll be going into this game and probably taking over a National League side, which is now the conference side, of course. You in Championship Manager 3, you were allowed to take part in the Conference League, and yeah, it's going to be see how well we do. Because of the game is 23 years old and my computer is pretty up to date, it's 2 years old, we should whiz through the seasons quite quickly here. But this is Championship Manager 3. Obviously, it was released on 26th of March 1999. Very successful, 170,000 copies. There was natural sequels after this, which became more and more popular, like the well-known Championship Manager, I think 97-98, I think was the one before this, and the Championship Manager 2000-2001 was the more popular version of this game. But I love this game, and there's a few new things that were put into this. Of course, there's no match screen, no 2D or 3D match screen. There's just going to be the scrolling text. If you don't like that, then you won't be liking this this episode. But we're going to go straight into the game, so just bear with me a second because I have to click certain little things here. There you go, and then I'll flip back in. There we go, we're into the game itself, Championship Manager 3. Now, as this is a 23-year-old game, my computer can definitely handle this pretty well. I could select 15 leagues if I want to, but I'm going to give the computer a little bit of a best right and make sure that it can actually work quite well. So we're going to go to select probably only 12 leagues at the moment, and these are the 12 leagues: Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, England, France, Germany, Holland, Italy, Portugal, Scotland, Spain and Sweden. We're going to go and manage in England. I'm going to go and manage Cheltenham Town in the National League, as it was called then, and this is going to be fun. So here we go. We have to select, because we are selected so many countries, you have to select which league you want to take part in. Of course, we won't be in England, so we select as it is already. So let the game load up, and it will whiz through quite quickly here. Famous last words. Well, much quicker than starting the game on the current Football Manager series. A lot quicker than that. Again, my PC is probably saying, why are you playing a game which is 23 years old? It's going to be fun anyway. So there we go. So I need to type in because it's going to be a new manager. I will type in my name, and of course there's a password there, so you can even put a password in so other people don't interrupt your save or something. We'll see. So I've got to select my nationality. I'm English, so I'll keep it as it is. And here we go, selecting the teams. These are all the teams that were loaded up. Remember, this is 1999. So let's have a quick look. Like Barrow now a league side. Bury should be in this. Yes, Bury, who don't exist anymore, sadly. Actually, they are coming back now, but they're a Phoenix club at the moment. But they go Bury in Division 1, the third highest division. The Premier League is in here, so we have got the Premier League in this game. That's good. Chesterfield, who are now non-leaguers. My beloved Oxford are in here, but I won't be Oxford's manager because I checked before and they were 13 million in debt. Darlington, that's a Darlington before they got bankrupted, so Darlington are still around, but in a different disguise. Doncaster, when you start this game, Doncaster are a non-league side. They're now League One, I think. So some surprises here. Halifax, now AFC Halifax. Hayes, I don't think are in the Conference League, higher Conference Leagues anymore. Hereford, this is again another club that got bankrupted later and then came back as Hereford United, and now in the Conference South, I think. Kettering, Kingston League. Kettering, a very famous Conference League side. Leek, I think are not in the higher leagues anymore. Macclesfield, another side who are now down in the non-leaguers. Kidderminster. Huddersfield Town, jeez. Another side who's still in the non-leaguers actually. Let's see if we can find any other clubs. There's Oxford there. Oh, they should be called Oxford United if I have to be picky. Scarborough, I think they folded, didn't they? And I think they're back as a feeder club now. Rushden Diamonds, very famous club. They did get into the league and they literally went back down the divisions and bankrupted, and they're not around anymore. Oops, no, I wasn't meant to do that. Go back again. Stevenage Borough, now a league side, obviously. Southport, kind of famous names here, some clubs. I think Newport are in here, if I can check. Are Newport in here? Newport not in here, that's a surprise. Newport, I thought Newport County would be in here. Okay, this game must have been created just after they got bankrupted then. Yes, Newcastle, no, there's no Newport. So that's one in the mission then. Wimbledon, that's the Wimbledon before they became Milton Keynes. So you can see Wimbledon there in the Premier League as well, because they were in the Premier League in those days. So yeah, some very famous names here. So well, anyway, let's get into the game because there's a lot of things we need to do, a lot of things we need to check, lots of players we need to buy. There's Cheltenham. I've chose Cheltenham because I think I've been heard they're one of the better non-league sides. So we're going to choose them. And I've got to get used to all these menus as well. So top left hand corner here, we've got all the clubs in that division. You can see that I think this was the first Championship Manager game when the left side menu came into play, but you can see it's a lot more simple. Of course, the interface is a lot more simple than the Football Manager games you know now of. And then up here, you can take control, which is what I'm going to do right now. Take control of Cheltenham Town, yes please. Doney's playing, finish, just me. I'll need to save my game. Of course, I went into the game before as Oxford's manager just to see what Oxford would like, and they are so in debt. So I decided not to. They were 13 million in debt. 13 million. So Cheltenham Town appointed Doughnut as manager. You might not see it, but down here, I will change that next episode, is that it blinks. You have you have news. So that's quite clever, I think. So Charlton Town have appointed me as manager. Here are the messages. What do the sport expect to attain a respectable league position? Oh, that's good. They're not putting much pressure on me on my first season. The fixture list has been decided. We start games against Woking, then Yeovil, 2 home games first, then Kingstonian away on the 15th of August 1998. Wow. So up here you got your messages, which is basically all these messages. These messages can be split into three various sorts of messages. So you've got just messages, competitions, so obviously you've got the Conference League there, and then you've got injury bans, any injuries and bans. Notice little background pictures. Anyway, the left side menu has now become active. So we've got my name here. So here I can look at the squad, reserve team, control reserve team. That's clever. Board confidence. So they're looking for me being the manager, obviously. Resign. Well, I'm not going to do that. Player search we'll be using a lot. Manager stats. So I'm currently, oh, this is rankings. I'm currently 115th in the world in England. So my reputation is very, very low, which is no surprise. Transfers, no transfers taking place. I think this is for every month as well. And history, this is my history. Of course, it's going to be very, very empty. And then go on holiday if I want to go on a holiday. Competitions, so if we click on that. Oh, this is all competitions. So we'll all have I think the World Cup 1998 is just finished. So if we go to the World Cup, the draw will be made in 2001. So let's go and see history. Who did win? Oh yeah, got France and Brazil, which is true. So it's going to be interesting to see what the game will predict the future will be like. So we go back there and back to competitions. So it's got all competitions here, including there's a lot of things you can look in here, which is amazing. From if you think back into 1998, 1999, how much more statistics and stuff they put into this game is amazing. Nations and clubs. So if I want to find a club or a nation, I can just go here. Under 21s as well. That's cool. Non-league. So this is the non-league database. So let's look at these are all the clubs that are not in the league. So a lot of these probably don't exist anymore. Some do, or some various names, various disguises. We'll have to wait and see. Is Newport in here? There it is. Newport is in this one. Newport AFC. So this is the Phoenix Club. And one good thing about this is that you can look at all these players that are highlighted. It means that these are real players, and you can either go and look at each person and see how much they're worth, and you can even put a cheeky bid in if you find any real good players, which we might do. We might go and do a bit of a cheeky look into the non-league side, see if we can raid any decent players. But of course, your guess is as good as mine what these players are like in 1998. They can be totally different. Oh, there's Cambridge City. Cambridge City are now a league side. Accrington, of course, are famous Accrington Stanley. They're a league side. So some of these, Burton Albion, they're one of the massive jumps. They're in League One now, and they've done very well in League One. So, but in this game in 1998, 25 years ago, they were a non-league side. And look, there's old Nigel Clough there. 32 years old. I think he was manager there, wasn't he, in that time? So that's good. So we'll just go and have a look at Accrington Stanley. Only 2 players available here. So any players highlighted is the ones you can click on. And normally, if I remember correctly, a lot of these players are quite older. Oh, except for him, he's 21 years old. We might find a good old wonder kid here to help our Cheltenham side. So all these non-league sides, and then of course we've got all the major sides. So if we go to England, and this is where, of course, where we selected our side. Let's go to who won the Premier League last year, 1997. We have to. I can't remember. So let's look at the history. This is the history of the English League table 1998. So it was Arsenal. So Arsenal are currently the top side in English football. Man United were second. So this is the Arsenal side as the game has started. So some very famous players here who moved on for various things, like Patrick Vieira is only 22 years old in this game. Wow. Tony Adams, the England captain. Very good. He is worth 2.6 million, which nowadays doesn't sound a lot, but of course this is 2.6 million of done 20 24, 25 years ago. So 2.6 million was an awful lot. Of course, I forgot you can click up here and click on these players this way. Dennis Bergkamp, 9 million. Wow. And he's been at Arsenal for about 4 seasons. So it's an amazing database full of players and stuff like that. And so so we could try to find some players. So in the newer games, obviously you just click up here and type in a name and the database goes and find it. Here it's a lot more, it's a bit more difficult. You have to actually type the player's name in into an actual search engine. So we're going to Owen and Michael Owen at Liverpool. Of course, this is just after the World Cup in 1998 when England got knocked out famously by Argentina in a penalty shootout, I think it was. And Michael Owen was the star of the World Cup, one of the stars of the World Cup, but he scored that very famous goal. And in this game, he's only 18 years old, 8 caps, 3 goals. And you can see his stats are amazing. Pace of 20, finishing is finishing in here. It's not called finishing in here. It's called something else. Shooting. So finishing in this game is called shooting. So that kind of makes sense. It's a little bit easier to find out the stats on here. There's not so many stats here. And look, he's even got Owen in the background picture wearing his World Cup 98 20 shirt. So this is Michael Owen in 1998. So it'll be interesting if he moves on to another club during our save. He's worth £10 million as well, which is a lot again for 1998, remember. These are the full lists of all other players at Liverpool. I did like looking at Liverpool when I was a kid, well, in 1998. Again, my main side was Oxford though. And we were just, I think, 1 division or 2 divisions below in 1998. I think we're in League 1. I think it was still League 1 there. So let's go and have a look actually. It's competitions, England, Premier Division. There was no championship. This makes sense now. So Premier Division, then just the First Division, Second Division, Third Division. Now you've got obviously Premier Division, Championship, League 1, League 2, and then Conference Leagues and Conference North, Conference South. In 1998, you only had Premier, First, Second, Third, and Conference, which was kind of like the unofficial Fourth Division, if that makes sense. Still is now. So in the First Division, it's all in alphabetical order. So I can move down to Oxford. There's my side, Oxford United. This is the side, my home side. It doesn't say the finances, obviously, because you're not the manager, but it will say they're bankrupted. And when I went into the game earlier on, a non-streaming game, I looked at Oxford and they were 13 million in debt. So I thought, not the best side to start off with, because I literally can't buy anyone. So that's Oxford United. But anyway, let's just, in this start the stream and also the first episode on my YouTube series, we will just look at some famous players. So we looked at Michael Owen already. Oh, clubs matching. Sorry, he's not a club, is he? Even though he keeps thinking he is a club. David Beckham, probably one of the most talented players in the late 90s. This is David Beckham. So in 1998-99, he was still at Man United. I think he was at Man United for a couple more years until he moved over to Real Madrid, I think, as a part of the Galacticos. So this is 2002. In 2002, sorry. So he was 23 years old, just 9 caps, of course. There he is in the middle in that picture there, if you can barely see him. That's Vieira there and Di Matteo there, if I can remember these players well. Di Matteo, who I think he became a manager. Vieira became a manager of Chelsea as well. They're both playing for Chelsea there. So there's Beckham in the middle. Beckham went on to have over 100 caps for England. So you can see this is right at the beginning of his England career anyway. So actually, it's probably a good idea to look at the nations other than the players, because then we'll hit some really good players. So we'll look at England first. Again, we'll start playing Cheltenham and getting everything done in episode 2 of the YouTube series. if you're watching this on the stream, you'll be seeing this straight away. So this is the England side of 1988, just after the World Cup of '98, when we got knocked out in the second round. So some famous names here. Of course, we've just seen Michael Owen, Alan Shearer, who was back at Newcastle. There he is. There's a picture of him there. This is really good. It's got the same pictures of the players there as well. And 35 caps, 16 goals. So we carry on now looking. Oh, this is just Newcastle players. So let's go back. We're looking at English players, aren't we? Robbie Fowler at Liverpool. Michael Owen, sort of like striker partner at Liverpool. So how much was Fowler worth? 10 million. What it all worth? Was 10 million the highest amount of money you can have in the game for a player? Sounds familiar that they've just the cap 10 million. Of course, we should know this player, Gareth Southgate. That is a picture of him as well. This is him at Aston Villa, so he must have moved on from Crystal Palace. Yes, it is. He's 27 in this game, 19 caps. Gareth Southgate, of course, is currently the England manager. He's under a bit of pressure though at the moment, but he is the current England manager, and he's at Aston Villa in those days, back in 1998. So some really good players here. Anyone else that hits me? I think Beckham was by far the best. No. Okay, we're going to look at La France. France, the World Cup winners of 1998. This is the French side, and the players we're going to look at a few of them. The main one, obviously, is Zidane. Probably the best player in the game. 26 years old, 43 caps, 11 goals. In those days, I think he's got a lot. He had a lot more. No Zidane picture in that one though. Attacking midfielder, just an attacking midfielder. Also here, Thierry Henry, who is only 20 years old in this game. So was this before he moved over to Arsenal? Yes, he's at Juventus. Interesting. So worth 9.5 million. Oh, okay. So Arsenal kind of bought him later. What other players? Deschamps, the current French Didier Deschamps, the French manager, 29 years old. So he's got about 1 or 2 years left before he retired. So wow, some really good names here. One other side we're going to look at before this first part of this series actually stops, if you were watching this on YouTube, is that we're going to look at Italia, and look at that amazing side in Italy. Oh, we'll look at Germany as well, actually. Roberto Baggio, that's the one I wanted to look at. 31 years old, had a few years left. I can't remember if he took part in the 2002 World Cup, but 53 caps for Italy. He's at Inter Milan. Amazing player. Any others? Oh, Ronaldo. We're going to skip over to Ronaldo. Ronaldo plays for Brazil, obviously. Look at that. Wow. Look at those stats. Amazing stats. You can see why he was a very, very good player. He's at Inter Milan. How much is he worth? 12.75. There we go. We've got a player who's actually worth more than 10 million. So that's good. We've actually found one. So there isn't a cap, but 12.75 million must be one of the highest rated of the game. Highest rated, highest valued even. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these players get better in the game or change as they progress in their careers. So it'd be see if any players actually stick with it or players go to other teams you never thought if they would go to. Of course, there's no point checking any current players in this game because some of them wouldn't even be born yet. So that's Ronaldo from who plays for Inter in those days. So what we're going to do, this is going to be the end of the first part